What is going on, guys? It is your boy KG for Life here with another YouTube video. This is going to be a time-stamped video to be able to help people get to the cookies that they want to hear / want to build to do better. What we're going to focus on is most of the ancients, legendary, super epics, and epics to be able to give you the best, not build, but the best toppings to use on these set of cookies. What we want to do is to give people a push forward into making better builds for their cookies. What I'm going to do is give you the toppings that you want to use for said cookies, and I'm going to give you the main substat you want out of that cookie. What we're doing here is giving y'all an idea of what to look forward to and what to do in Cookie Run Kingdom to make your time better, in a sense. We're going to go through each cookie one by one. Each timestamp will be listed down below in the description below, so if you don't have time to watch the whole video, click down the timestamps down there. That'll help you a lot more better than me going through each one of them by myself. We're going to start here, and we're going to start with our first and one only dark cacao cookie. As well, before we get started, I do want to say, if y'all have a PC, if y'all want to play this game on PC, down below I have a link down there. It's for LD Player. I use LD Player all the time. That's what I use. That's what y'all are seeing me use right now, to show y'all this gameplay. I'd recommend using it if you have any problem, anytime that you want to play on your PC while you're not using your phone. Give it a try, support me, I'd be okay with that, and I hope to see y'all at the end of this video. Let's go ahead and switch scenes here so we can start getting into the nitty gritty, shall we? I think what I'm gonna do is that right there. We're using my live stream setup, so don't mind it. I'm not live right now, so we're using our live stream setup, so don't mind that. Okay, let's get started. First cookie we're gonna go with is a dark cacao. Dark cacao is a front line with his ability called Solemn Judgment. It's a 16 second cooldown. It reduces the attack, it reduces the defense, and inflicts zap and injury. Injured foes will have reduced max HP. While Dark Cacao is using the skill, he will become resistant. Alright, so if you look, sometimes when you read abilities, you can see if it goes better with a certain stat. Dark Cacao doesn't have that. So we're going to go ahead to toppings, and we're going to show you here. Right now, we are using 5 solid almond stats. Okay, 5 solid almond. You can use, if you want to, you can use searing raspberry if you want to, and hell, you can even use swift chocolate if you want to. But I'd recommend using a solid almond because he is your front line. Okay, so solid almond, and the main base stat you want to look for Dark Cacao is damage resist. The better the damage resist, the more he's able to survive and do his abilities. It's pretty simple for Dark Cacao, and I'm actually happy that it's pretty simple for him. I'd recommend doing that and seeing where you can get to the max defense, max damage resist as possible. Okay. Next, we are going after Clotted Cream Cookie. Clotted Cream Cookie is an interesting cookie. Okay. And only reason why I'm going to tell you he's an interesting cookie is because of this right here. While Clotted Cream Cookie is using his skill, he will become resistant to interrupting effects, but damage of the Consul's Order, so the skill Consul's Order, is relative to max HP. So the damage is relative to max HP, but it is capped at 300,000. Okay, so the thing is, which is really cool about this, is that it shows you right here, cookies 89.9% damage relative to max HP plus 20% fixed damage relative to max HP. Stuns for 1.3 seconds. Also, others 1.3% damage relative to max HP. So when you go here, you're looking at Clotted Cream Cookie, and you're like, what are the best toppings for a Clotted Cream Cookie? Well, the best toppings would be searing raspberry, because the more damage the better. But the best substat to run with Clotted Cream Cookie is HP, because once he gets to 300,000 of his HP, which is right here where the heart is, once he gets to 300k of HP, then you don't have to worry about it anymore. He's doing the max damage that he can do with his ability. So I'd recommend try to look at your secondary stats, see if you can get a max HP stat somewhere on your thing. You can also do something along the lines of, there is a right here. So there is a healthy peanut here that you can use. What I recommend, but if you want to use healthy peanut, I'll go 2 healthies, 3 searing raspberries. You can mix it up there if you want to get the max HP that you can get from him. And for the max base stat for the healthy peanuts, try to go more attack. Try to get more attack on there. Make it easier for yourself. Maybe some more cooldown too. If you can get cooldown, some max HP, you'll be set, because he goes off of his max HP. Okay, so
in our republic, one's name is one's strength.
Next here we have Oyster Cookie. Oyster Cookie is probably one of the most easiest cookies to build, okay? And the reason why she is probably one of the most easiest cookies to build is because she scales off of cooldown, okay? But she's also the most mathematical to do, by the way. She is one of the most mathematicals. And the reason why I say she's the most mathematical is because there's a part right, where is it? Right here. The 4 oyster soldiers, if you can get to 18% cooldown. So you get to 18.1% cooldown, up to 4 soldiers in total, right? Then you have the soldiers attack, get plus 0.9% attack for every 1% cooldown. So if you have 24.3% cooldown, you're doing a lot of damage, by the way. A lot. And it's up to 50%. So once you get to the 24.3%, the one thing that helps you pick this up, by the way, is the max jelly watch. So to get all 4 soldier tokens for Oyster Cookie, you want to run 24.3% cooldown, which means what we're going to get to here is the next part. Full Swift Chocolate with double cooldown is your main stat you are trying to focus on. Your secondary main stat is damage resist. Always damage resist. We're in a damage resist meta. That's just plain and simply it. We're non-stop going to be in a damage resist meta. But yeah, you want to look for something along the lines of this. See, as you can see right here, cooldown 1.9%. And then also there's another build that goes around, which is 3 Swift Chocolates, 2 solid almonds to help you in arena. This is a good arena build. 3 Swifts, 2 solids to get the maximum damages you can get. But as you can see right here on the right side, your max damage resist that you can get is the max cooldown you can get is 2%. So once you get the max 2% cooldown, you're on your right track to get things to be better. So that's one thing you can do. Swift Chocolate, all 5 Swift Chocolates, 24.3% cooldown is your thing, is where you need to be, with a max rank of 12 for the treasure. As long as you get the treasure at level 12 and 24.3% cooldown, you'll have all 4 of your Oyster Soldier cookies. Oyster Soldier, whatever. That's I don't mind me. All right.
You'd be surprised how one small light can light up so many roads.
Next, here we go. We are focusing on Cotton Cookie. Cotton Cookie, as I've had from my last video, if you haven't seen the last video, go check out that last video. It's actually has to do with cotton to begin with. Cotton Cookie helps out with a lot of healing. Tons of healing. There's nothing specific that you need to build towards with her, but if you want the best out of her, go with Swift Chocolate. Nothing else but Swift Chocolate, and try to focus on as you can't see here. I'm sorry about that. Hold on, let me see if I can show y'all here. As you can see here, I am running both damage resist at 24.2% and cooldown at 21.1%. But the thing is, you can have this reversed. You can get as low as cooldown as a damage resist as you want to, but the highest cooldown. But you're focused on cooldown on her. That's what you're focused on. I just wanted y'all to see that. Okay? So, Cotton's pretty short, simple, to the point. Swift Chocolate, as much cooldown as you can, and then try to add into damage resist. Alright, next here we have Vampire Cookie. Vampire Cookie just recently got his magic candy. Not too recent, but he just got it recently. His magic candy, which is right here. Right now, since I have it at plus 10, he's doing 44.5% extra damage, 60% to cookies, 36% to others, bleeding for extra damage. Cookies get 88.5% per each stack, up to 200%, and other things get 22.1%. Yeah. So, with Vampire, he's pretty simple as well. You're only looking at Searing Raspberry. Searing Raspberry, adding a little bit of crit. Try to get a little bit of crit in there, because if you can crit, you could probably one-shot things if you're careful enough. So extra damage, extra crit. That's what you're looking for Searing Raspberry. It's not too shabby. I would say that's what you want to work towards. More crit, more attack. Those are your main two things you want to look at for him. So he's pretty simple, straightforward. Next. Here we have Pumpkin Pie Cookie. Pumpkin Pie Cookie is actually one of my girlfriend's favorite cookies. One of my girlfriend's favorite cookies. I don't know how to say that the right way. Whatever, but she likes this cookie. Anyways, Pumpkin Pie Cookie is interesting. Because as you can see here, when you summon Pom-Pom, you get 80% attack, 188% defense, and 382% HP. And as you can see, there's no secondary thing that you need to worry about, which is kind of good. So we're gonna go here to toppings. We're gonna go ahead and turn off my video camera so you can see here what I got going on. So as you can see here, Pumpkin Pie dies way too fast. That's the thing about Pumpkin Pie. She dies too fast. So I would recommend focusing on solid almond on her, because the more she can survive, the more that she can use her ability, which is Pom-Pom. Using Pom-Pom actually helps you out too, because what it does, it increases your attack speed for all allied summoned creatures, but also reduces the healing for other cookies and enemies. It inflicts melee area damage up to 3 enemies and applies a non-stackable debuff, decreasing the amount of healing enemies receive while on the battlefield. So it's a pretty good. So you want to focus. Are you done? Okay, cool. 38.6% damage resist, so that's the most that I can get on her for right now without going too in depth, because 38% just means that she can survive a lot more longer. And honestly, cooldown the damage resist on her Because the more she can use Pom Pom, the more that she gets that debuff out there, the more that she survives, the more that she's able to use Pom Pom. So it's pretty much vice versa in that way. So she's pretty simple. I like simple. Simplicity is awesome.
Not every Hollyberrian enjoys berry juice.
Alright. I always gotta pause because they love to talk for some odd reason. I don't know why. Alright, next we have Wildberry Cookie. Wildberry Cookie doesn't have a secondary thing that you need to focus on, which is good. But I would say what you want to do, and as you can see, you can pause to read what his abilities do. I'll let you pause to read that. But anyways, we're gonna go strictly into there. I'm gonna keep my camera off for the rest of this, honestly, and just be okay with that. Hold on one second, guys. Boom. So y'all can be okay with this, so y'all can be able to see better. Alright. It's straightforward with Wildberry. Solid almond, extra damage resist, probably a little bit of attack, because he's probably one of the highest damaging tanks out there. So you want him solid almond. The max damage resist you can get on a solid almond is 6%, by the way. 6% is the max you can get on a solid almond piece. So try to focus on trying to do that and see if you can get somewhere with that. That'll be the best way you can do with him. Solid almond, max damage resist as much as you can get. Alright. Next, we have
I will not let it control me.
Dark Choco. Dark Choco Cookie is in the guild battle boss meta. Dark Choco Cookie has to significantly stay alive. The longer he stays alive, the better he's able to do things. The better he's able to do things, the more debuffs that he's able to give. Because his debuff is minus 20% defense for 7 seconds. He's great for the dragon boss, by the way. Very great for the dragon boss.
I just wanted to be a hero.
I always forget they do that. So what I recommend you do is there's 2 different builds for him that you can use. Okay, one of them being solid almond, get as much damage resist as you can get. I've been taking away things from other cookies, so that's why he doesn't have one right now. So you want to go with as much damage resist and cooldown for him. Damage resist and cooldown, so he can keep on using his thing to keep on getting that debuff out there for you. So try to work on that. Next would be the apple jelly set, which gives him crit. It's a crit percentage set, which again, you want to focus on extra crit, you want to focus on damage resist and cooldown. Those are your main 3 things you want to try to get. Okay, 6% damage. Just cooldown, damage resist, and crit. Those are really good for Dark Choco. So, I'd recommend doing that. I recommend building him as soon as you can because he's a really good one to have in guild boss battles. Very good.
Sleep is not on my schedule.
Next, we're sitting here with Espresso Cookie. He has a magic candy of his own as well, which is really good because his fixed damage and his regular damage is pretty straightforward. And also, he gives you injury. He does injury, which is kind of cool. And injury cannot reduce max HP by more than 25%. So he does a 25% injury while Dark Cacao does the other ones, which is great. He doesn't have a stat to focus on, so you pretty much can go anywhere you want to with him. What I recommend you doing, don't worry about this because like I said, I'm still trying to work out a lot with these cookies, by the way. What I recommend you doing is focus on solid searing raspberry. Searing raspberry is a good base to get him at. Try to get extra attack and extra damage resist. If you want to use them in PvP more than anything, just get more damage resist. So, because the more he stays alive, the more he uses his ability. So, I would recommend cooldown, damage resist, and attack on Espresso Cookie. And Searing Raspberry, so that you won't go wrong with Searing Raspberry. Next, we have Sorbet Shark Cookie. Sorbet Shark Cookie, again, is part of the meta, okay? And as I always tell people, and I will always tell people this, Sorbet Shark over Eclair anytime that you can get a chance. If you don't have the right toppings, I would say Sorbet Shark over Eclair. Because Sorbet Shark doesn't kill himself during doing damage phases on the boss of the dragon, since there's 3 bosses now. As you can see here, Sorbet Shark deals area damage, dealing area damage, right? It deals additional damage to 2 enemies, targets the first cookie first, with the highest max HP within the skill area of effect. For enemies that are cookies, the additional attack will be dealt as true damage relative to the enemy's max HP. It cannot exceed 300,000 for other enemies. The additional damage will be regular damage. So, the max HP, you don't focus on that with Sorbet, by the way. It's not on Sorbet, it's on what the other cookies do. Alright, so Sorbet has 2 separate builds. Okay, you want to focus on, there's one build here that's solid almond, and it's running 38.8% damage resist with a little bit of cooldown. You want to try to focus on damage resist and cooldown because he's used in the summoner set for PvP. So it's recommended getting him to as much damage resist as possible, so he stays alive, so he uses it longer. Then we have the Swift Chocolate set. Okay, Swift Chocolate set does focus on damage resist and cooldown, but it's heavily focused on cooldown because in the guild boss battle, you want to do his thing as much as possible in that turn sequence. So the more cooldown, the better it is off of him. So Swift Chocolate and Solid Almond. And y'all can pause and take screenshots and try to use these in your own way and see how it goes on your end. Alright? But I recommend doing that. Alright.
Ah, the sweet taste of power.
Next, we have Affogato Cookie, which he is not there when it comes to PvP, but he's used in other areas, which is good. But like I always tell people, read the ability and see if there's anything that stands out. And it looks like, as I'm reading myself, it looks like there's nothing here that has to be focused on one type of thing. So we're gonna go here to his builds, and he only has one build for me because this is I only use him in the guild boss battle for the dragon. Okay, so this is why he only has one build. He's using two apples and 3 searing raspberries. All right, and he's focused on attack and crit percent. So both attack and crit. Add a little bit of damage resistance there too, so he can stay alive. The more he stays alive, the more he's able to do that much damage. Now, I'd focus on Affogato, 2 jellies, 3 certain raspberries. It's not too bad. And next we will have.
As long as I have my comrades with me, I can do anything.
Next, we are talking about Crunchy Chip Cookie. Crunchy Chip Cookie has I'm giving y'all a second to read this, by the way, before I continue. And I'll go over it too, just a little bit. Okay, so Crunchy Chocolate Chip has to be focused on crit percent. Is his secondary stat you need to focus on. The more crit, the more damage he's doing. As you can see here, 70% of attack, 60% of defense, 85% of HP, 100% of crit. The Tamed Wolf, which are the extra wolves that are spawned, 189% attack, 138% defense, 230 HP, 100% of crit. So, and then claw marks give a damage debuff, stacks up to 2 times, for 217% damage. So, with Crunchy Choco Chip, I call him Crunchy Choco. Sorry. You're gonna have to deal with it. I'm sorry. You want to focus on damage resist. Well, there's more than one build, as you can see here. There's more than one build. So we're gonna focus on all 3 of them just so you can see what's going on. With this build, you're focusing on damage resist and a little bit of crit. And having some crit resist won't be that difficult for you to get because it's pretty easy. It's like one of the most easiest ones to get off there. But Solid Almond full 5 set gives you 48.5% damage resist with 3.7% crit. I know I can make that a lot better, but I recommend trying to get more crit. The next build we're rocking here is the apple jelly set with more crit. So I would recommend damage resist, crit. The more crit, the better. The more damage he'll do. I recommend doing that. It's pretty simple for the apple jelly set. Then next, if you're focusing on pure raw damage, you want to focus on Searing Raspberry, because it'll kill him faster, but you get more damage output because of it. And what you want to focus on here is attack and crit. Attack percentage and crit percentage for doing the most damage possible on all 5 sets of Searing Raspberry. So, that's something I recommend you try to do there with that.
First performance is always the most nervous one.
Next, we are rocking Parfait Cookie. Parfait Cookie is, again, another cookie that is very helpful in many PvE stages. Many PvP teams are using her, vice versa. She's pretty much still in the meta. She helps with debuff resist, healing, and giving defense to your cookies, which is really good, by the way. Really good. With Parfait Cookie, you want to run Swift Chocolate on her. Okay, just Swift Chocolate, focus on cooldown. If you want to use her in PvP, focus on damage resist. Damage resist really doesn't worry about that in PvE, because as long as they're in the back line, nothing's touching them. As long as you have a good front line. So, PvE, focus on cooldown. PvP, focus on damage resist and cooldown. All 5 Swift Chocolates, by the way. So, pretty simple.
No 2 stars in the world are the same.
Next, we are picking up one of the new cookies, Cream Unicorn Cookie. Cream Unicorn Cookie is pretty good with what he can do. He silences, he gives your party crit reduction and damage reduction, and it stacks 3 times. Because it does every 12 seconds, but its cooldown is 17 seconds, as you can see here. What I would recommend for Cream Unicorn Cookie is, if you want to keep on using his ability to maximum efficiency, try to get a balanced set between cooldown and damage. As you can see here, even without this one right here, you're looking at a really good balance off of cooldown and damage resist, because he's pretty much only really used in Cookie Alliance and Cookie Arena. So 5 Sweet Chocolates, cooldown, damage resist, always works fine with him.
Dark Cacao will rise again.
Next, we are going to focus on Caramel Arrow with her skill ability called Arrow Resolution. As you can see here, her damage stacks, and we'll read it here. After the ranged attack, the arrow mark explodes when Caramel Arrow Cookie rushes towards the enemy, dealing damage proportional to the enemy's max HP. This damage is capped at 300k. During the ranged attack, Caramel Arrow cannot receive debuffs, and I think stunned as well, so she can't get stunned or receive debuffs. So, The good thing about this one is she doesn't need to be focused on a specific thing. What I would recommend you doing, because there are 2 builds for her. My first build here is damage resist and attack speed. Like, I'll tell you this from experience, attack speed and damage resist are your friend with Caramel Arrow. She does really well with attacking fast, and if the more she can attack fast, the better she is. So, crit damage resist, cooldown. If you could add a little bit crit resist in there, maybe that can help you out a little bit, but focus on damage resist and attack speed, and you'll be fine with 5 solid almonds. And honestly, I'll tell you the same thing here with Searing Raspberry, damage resist and attack speed. Don't have to really worry about cooldown, you're fine. But as long as she can survive and get that attack speed, you'll be fine with the Searing Raspberry.
I am proud of my accomplishments in the Paladin Academy.
Next, we are talking about Financier Cookie. Financier Cookie has a specific thing that you need to focus on here, and I'll read it out to you real quick. Financier's Cookie's top priority is Clotted Cream Cookie. So if Clotted Cream Cookie's on your team, she protects him than any other cookie, no matter how high the attack is. But if he's not present, she'll protect the allied cookie with the highest attack, okay? Upon using the thing, she will heal the cookie that she's protecting and increase the attack damage and crit resist, as well as grant light shield to both, which if they attack the light shield, they'll do a lot more damage to them, no matter how you look. Then, if we look here, and this is going to be highlighted, this is going to be highlighted a little bit for y'all. Light's shield, 12.7% of the cookie's match HP for 5 seconds. That's pretty much all you need to know about her. What I would recommend you do with Financier Cookie is focus on damage resist and HP with a little bit of cooldown. So, damage resist, HP, cooldown, and that light shield would be amazing. I have seen people use I've seen people use the light shield with HP, and I'm trying to do that, as you can see here. This is actually somewhat towards what you need to go for, by the way. This is something that you want to look towards doing. A build like this: 3 solid almonds and 2 healthy peanuts, because the healthy peanuts give you the HP. If you can get double HP on there, then you're actually on your way to the right way to build her, because the more HP that she gets, the more that light shield will do damage and give that attack buff to your other cookies. So 2 different builds: solid almond, 2 healthy peanuts, or 3 solid almonds. The 5 full solid almonds focus on damage resist and HP. 3 solid almonds, 2 healthy peanuts. You want to focus on HP and damage resist to make it better for yourself, to do better. Okay, that's what I recommend you doing with Financier. Okay.
To peer into your future.
Our next cookie that we have going on here is Pomegranate Cookie. Okay, Pomegranate Cookie is good for one specific reason, and that is the attack, the 30% attack buff for 7 seconds that you get. She also heals, which is a plus, but you really love that 30% attack that you get from her. Pomegranate Cookie is really good because you can, if you use 5 Swift chocolates on her, you'll get the best that you can get off her. Okay, and that is focusing on cooldown, focusing on damage resist. Use her in PvP more. If you use her in PvP more, damage resist, cooldown, hands down, the best things you can give her. I also have this build here, but it's not really working out, so I'm probably not going to focus on it, but I'll just let you know what it is. It's full damage resist, with cooldown as the main goal and damage resist is what you're looking for. So those are like this is not that important, but Swift Chocolate is more important, or Pomegranate. So what I'm going to tell you here is this. There's going to be certain cookies that aren't meta cookies that people still use that are really confused on what to put the toppings on for those set of cookies. So what I recommend is, what I'm going to do here is give you a short and sweet run of the non-meta cookies, and I'm going to tell you what's really good to use on those cookies. Okay, so it's going to be a rapid fire moment here. Cream puff cookie, you want to use Swift Chocolate mixed with attack as your main stat. Lilac cookie, you want to run Swift Chocolate, probably focusing on damage resist. Sonic, Swift Chocolate as well. Searing Raspberry would work as well for Sonic. Tiger Lily, Searing Raspberry. Poison Mushroom, try to focus on cooldown, probably Searing Raspberry as well. I would go in a mix of Searing Raspberry and Swift Chocolate. For Fig Cookie, you're using Swift Chocolate, max cooldown as much as you can get. Werewolf Cookie, Searing Raspberry, mixed with damage resist. Mango, you're going to be using, what is that one that you want to use? I forgot the name of it. Searing Raspberry, extra attack, some crit. Raspberry Cookie, you want to use damage resist, so solid almond. Pastry Cookie, you want to use Searing Raspberry mixed with cooldown. Raspberry, Red Velvet Cookie, you want to use Swift Chocolate mixed with attack and damage resist, so he can keep on pulling things forward for you. It's amazing that he can do that. Next, Twizzle Gummy, crit. That's literally all I can say. Try to build anything around here, but the more crit, the better. I would say Searing Raspberry mixed with crit percent is an amazing idea. Black Raisin, crit as well with Searing Raspberry. You can work on that. Latte Cookie, you want to use Swift Chocolate with a little bit of attack, a little bit of damage resist. That helps a lot. Why did I forget her name? Chili Pepper, you want to use Searing Raspberry. I call them Rice Cake Cookie. Max damage resist. Same thing with Madeline. Damage resist. Both solid almonds. Really good on them. Same thing with the Kumio. You want to use Swift Chocolate. Damage resist. Helps out a lot with that too. Snow King. You want to be able to you want to use Searing Raspberry. Lots of cooldown. The more you can use Snow King, the better. Mint Choco Chip, you want to use anything that helps him amplify his buff. So you want to do Swift Chocolate mixed with Amplify buff. Yes, that's weird to say, but an Amplify buff would work on him. Squid Ink, you want to use Searing Raspberry and max attack. Sparkling Cookie, Swift Chocolate, damage resist. Cocoa Cookie, you want to use damage resist, solid almond. Licorice Cookie, you want to use, you just want to use Swift Chocolate mixed with what is it?
Allow me to introduce my faithful servants.
I would just say try to focus on Searing Raspberry or Swift Chocolate on him. Herb, get a little bit of an Amplify buff in there, but Swift Chocolate works amazing with him. Try to get a roll of Amplify buff to help you out there with him. Strawberry Crepe Cookie, damage resist, works really well on her. So solid almond, damage resist. Tea Knight, solid almond, damage resist, max HP. You want him to stay alive the longest, which lets him be able to deal most of the damage the longest. Molotov Cookie, Searing Raspberry mixed with damage resist, that works. Okay, so those were all. Oh yeah, and Wildberry Cookie as well, max damage resist. Yeah, max damage resist. So solid almond, max damage resist. So that right there was the sure big hip fire mode about the cookies that aren't really used to make the video not that much longer. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue down the line of the more prominent cookies you need to focus on.
Jelly berries are in season now.
So, with that being said, now we have Pure Vanilla. Pure Vanilla is slowly coming at a meta, but he's also always going to be really good to use. Plus, I love his little outfit. Who doesn't love this outfit, dude? It's so good. Okay? So, as you can see here, it says healing of 189.4% of attack, plus the shield that he puts absorbs 20% of the max HP for 3 seconds. So, what you need to focus on with Pure Vanilla is, and this is gonna sound weird, very, very weird, you want to focus on Swift Chocolate with attack as your secondary main stat. So if you have any Swift Chocolates out there that have any type of attack help in there, use it, because his heal stacks upon how much attack that you have. It is plus 189% of that attack. So let's say you have 30% attack, right? Then you'll have 100 plus 189%, plus 30% on top of that 189%. So you'll be perfectly there. I would also recommend cooldown. So cooldown and attack is probably your best effort. A little bit of damage is just 5 Swift Chocolates work out so well on him.
Have you ever felt a cold that pierces your very soul?
So, here we have Frost Queen. Frost Queen is still in the meta because of the Summoner's Comp. The Summoner's Comp, she pretty much steamrolls them if you have her built right. And if you read here on her thing, she does 474.6% damage of her attack. So the more attack that she has, the more freeze damage that she does. So I would recommend going through and seeing what you want to do the most, more damage, or you want to do more freezing with more damage. So if that's, let's say you want to do more freezing but also do more damage, so you want to run 5 Swift Chocolates, focus on attack and focused on cooldown. Well, you'll be focused on cooldown anyways, but attack and cooldown are your two best friends for her for your first build, and that's more freezing, more damage. Then you'll have the second build, which is just more damage, less freezing, which would be Searing Raspberry. Extra attack would work, so something like this, along the lines like this. You're looking at attack plus extra attack as your substat for her. So, depends on the type of build. You can do Searing Raspberry or Swift Chocolate, but I recommend Swift Chocolate because the more you do it, the more damage you can do. That's how I recommend doing that.
My sorrow comes like waves.
Next, we have here Seafarer. Seafarer Cookie is not that simple, but she's also easy to build, and I'd recommend using 2 different builds with her. 5 Searing Raspberries with damage resist and a little bit of cooldown goes a long way. And then next, you're looking at the solid almond build with damage resist and damage resist and cooldown are your 2 main basics for the solid almond build. So, Searing Raspberry build, attack, damage resist, cooldown. For the solid almond build, you're looking for a little bit of attack, a little bit of damage resist, and cooldown to be able to help you out there. The more the merrier.
One cookie's trash is another one's whole collection of artifacts.
toppings here. Okay, so next would be Eclair. Eclair does the same type of thing that pure vanilla does, but the shield does plus 25% of the max HP for 3 seconds upon whoever you kill. So like if you kill a cookie, you give all of your allies a shield that is of their max HP. So it's pretty good. There's 2 different builds with them. One is pure damage, and that's dealing with searing raspberry mixed with attack and cooldown and damage resist. So attack, cooldown, damage resist is what you're looking for the searing raspberries at. Here, next is focus on cooldown, focus on damage resist. That's all you need to focus on for the Swift Chocolate build. Swift Chocolate is there to keep on using his ability as much as possible while being alive, of course. I also would tell you as a precautionary thing that you would want to make sure you have a lot of damage resist on Eclair, because in the guild boss battles he will always die first because of that damage knockback that gets him. There's a damage reflection that happens on one of the bosses, so take that with a grain of salt. But you have 2 different builds of searing raspberry and Swift Chocolate. I recommend trying one of those 2 builds. Alright, next,
Let's get to the scene ASAP.
Almond Cookie is slowly becoming out of meta, but he's actually really good for the sole reason that he does damage link. His damage link helps him out still become a meta for the Red Velvet Dragon. With him, you're focusing on 2 different things. You're focusing on Swift Chocolate mixed with cooldown and mixed with damage resist, so he can stay alive and keep on doing that damage link for the Red Velvet Dragon. I'm just gonna tell you, just use Swift Chocolate mixed with damage resist and cooldown, and you should be fine on a dragon. You should do enough damage on him to help you out there. There's nothing really. You can use the solid almond set here that I have going on here, but it's only for like Cookie Alliance if you want to use it for that. But I'd recommend trying that out and see how that gets to you. Swift Chocolate, all 5, damage resist, cooldown are your best friends. Next we have here,
Why am I angry? You won't understand!
Purple Yam Cookie. Purple Yam Cookie has literally pretty much become meta at this point, especially for Cookie Alliance, because of Berserker's Fury. He gets plus 21% attack, plus 20% crit, plus 8% damage resist, plus 10% attack speed per stack. And he gets 4 stacks. So you times all that by 4 and he's pretty much an unkillable madman. I'd recommend, if you could try to get him to plus 10, try to get him to plus 10. It's totally worth it. With Purple Yam, use solid almond. Since I don't have a build on him, it doesn't really matter for me to show it anyways. For Purple Yam, use solid almond, max damage resist, and yeah, that's pretty much about it. A little bit of attack, maybe a little bit of attack would help too. So solid almond 5, max damage resist. He's really good in Cookie Alliance, by the way. So if you have him unlocked and you have this as much as you can get, use him. He's really good. Next, Milk Cookie. We have here Milk Cookie, who just recently got a buff. I don't have his candy on him, so I have to read it off of here. His plus 10. Milk Cookie deals more damage from regular attacks. True damage relative to the max HP of the cookies. 1% damage to others. 1% damage to cookies, and 20% of attack to others. So you're looking here, and his normal ability says that his damage resist is plus 50% damage resist for his regular ability without the magic candy. I'd recommend solid almond, getting a getting it with damage resist is probably your best friend. Solid almond, damage resist, pure 5. You should be fine. Rye Cookie.
See red-haired cookies in there? Get on out of here!
Rye Cookie just recently got a skill upgrade as well, and the skill upgrade that she has here gives her skill attack plus 2 bonus shots, 12 shots in total. And when she uses her last shot, she gives the cookie's attack speed is increased greatly for a given period of time. Enemies hit by regular attacks, skill attacks will be burned. So it does really well with making sure that she can become meta. And she has become meta because of what she can do. With Rye Cookie, I would recommend Searing Raspberry. You want to do Searing Raspberry, Crit, Attack, and Cooldown. Those are your main 3 stats you want to try to focus on with her. It's Crit, Attack, Cooldown, because those are your best friend with having her do as much damage as she can do. Yeah, and then the attack speed just pretty much just works. Let's see. And the last but not least is Cherry Blossom. Cherry Blossom has become meta because of the Avatar of Destiny. The Avatar of Destiny pretty much just said, hey, these cookies need to be used against me or you're not going to do damage. Good luck, sayonara. Because if you do any type of debuff to the Avatar of Destiny, you're dead. That's it. Max you probably do is 100k, give or take, if you're even lucky enough to do that. And the build we have for Cherry Blossom is pretty straightforward because she needs to do her ability cooldown. Her ability needs to be done both at the beginning of the battle and also before she gets hit with the death ray, the death beam. I call it death ray, but it's a beam that comes down and kills your cookie automatically. So with that being said, the Searing Raspberry build, and I've tried both of these builds out and they both work the same way somewhat. I'd recommend focusing on attack and cooldown with a little bit of damage resist. Attack, cooldown, and damage resist, okay? Because she does plus 2.5% attack for 12 seconds and it stacks up to 10 times. So if you put this on Vampire, if you put it on any other cookie, they're gonna do immense damage. And it also says here, with each 3 hits, the damage decreases by 20%. It cannot be decreased by more than 80%. So if she hits 7 enemies, she's only gonna give you that plus 2.5% attack for the first 3. But you still get that stack up to 10 times. Okay. So next we're gonna focus here on Swift Chocolate. As you can see here, Swift Chocolate's running 90.9% cooldown with a 5% damage resist. Because normally the damage resist really does not matter when she is not going to get hit with that death ray. So that's pretty much what you want to focus on, is damage resist. 5 Sweet Chocolates, damage resist, or 5 Searing Raspberries, focused on cooldown and damage resist, so she can stay alive a lot longer. Yeah, so that was my rundown on the certain cookies that you should be focused on and a surefire way to do the cookies who are not meta that you only have access to. I gave you those little quick fire modes for those cookies, so I hope that helps you out. What I'm going to do is, and I'm gonna give y'all a
If only I could undo my deeds.
I'm gonna give y'all some good advice here. What I would do if I were y'all is try to, if you want to try to get some really good stats on your toppings, what I recommend you do is upgrading to +6 first, upgrade all of your toppings in that one section. So like if you have a lot of syrup and raspberry, upgrade them all to +6, right? And if none of them gets your first stat that you want, then you start upgrading them to +9. And if those +9s don't give you what you want, just stop right there, destroy some of them, get your stuff back, and try again. I only say this because sometimes what happens is if you get them to +6, you get your one stat that you're looking for. That one stat that will help you out the most. So, I always tell people this, and I will always tell y'all, the advice that I give y'all, this advice that I want y'all to have, helps y'all proceed into the game a lot more. Helps y'all become a lot more aware of what you're doing and what type of builds you want to do in Cookie Run Kingdom. Cookie Run Kingdom is all about builds and team building and trying to figure out what's best and what's not best. But I always tell people this, and I will always tell this in every type of video I give my advice on. These are not things that you have to do, okay? I give y'all this advice to help people go beyond what they're trying to do, okay? And if that's the case, I hope y'all can take this advice with a grain of salt and be happy with what I given y'all, okay? And in the end of the day, y'all can do what you want, you can have what you want, and you can do anything in the world that Cookie Run gives you that helps you, okay? So, without further ado, this has been your boy, KG for Life. I appreciate y'all watching this video, and as I said before, I would be putting the timestamps right down below so that y'all can have more access to what cookies you are looking for, okay? And what you want to build for them and how you want to build them. So, it's been your boy KG for Life. Watch out for my next YouTube video, and I will be live tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, it's been a really good doozy and voice strainer for me to talk about this. So, I hope to see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!